V'hinei al zen nemar. On this, the pasuk says, on this descent that comes down into the world that we learned earlier, to bring down the Giluyim from the Milo, to bring it down all the ways below. That's the idea of the Nanuyim, from the shaking of the lulav, that we shake it in all the 6 sides, 4 corners, and up and down, that we're mamshu it into the world. So this is also what we say in the pasuk, mashlich karche kifitim. He throws his kerach. Kerach is the ice, is the frozen. He takes the frozen and he throws it kifitim. He's going to explain what does it mean that it's frozen, just like when you take water. It's the same water, but the water turns into ice. The water becomes a different, instead of being a liquid, it becomes solid. Same thing, this is an example when the Giluyim Milamayla come down below to becoming into this world in a level to reveal the higher level into this world. First, the pasuk says that he gives the snow like wool. We explained before what is the level of tzemer. That's the level of Yud Gimel Midas Rachamim, Shuhu B'chinas, the level of Amar Nikei, Levushi Kitlag Chiver, B'sar Reshek Amar Nikei. So we talked about the fact that the tzemer, the snow, is like the tzemer. So what is the snow? Before it freezes, it's pieces. Before you have the tzemer, Shubichinas is Galus Yud Gimel Midei Sarachamim. You have the revelation of the 13 attributes of mercy. That is the snow. When we say that it's snowing, that it's Shalak HaTzomer. The Vushik Kitlas Chiger Chulu Amizgalin that are revealed by Yom Kippurim. That comes in Yom Kippur. So we have first the Noisen Shalak HaTzomer. Sha'al Yidei Zen Nimshachu Mizgala Besukis. Through that, his galus that happens in Yom Kippur, so it extends, and on Sukkot is revealed Bechinas v'Yiminei Techabkeni, the level of Yiminei Techabkeni. Umizeh Nimshach Bechinas Mashlich Karche Kifitim. And from that level, after we have Yom Kippur and we have Sukkot, then we get to the next level, after the nation Shalak HaTzomer, to the Mashlich Karche Kifitim, that the Kerach comes down to pieces. What does it mean? Hinei Bechinas Ava Rabezu, this level of great love, Chesed El Yinzeh, and this supreme level of Chesed, Hanim Shal Lemayim, which is equated to water. So in the beginning, the love and chesed, which are an expression of Amshocha, they start off with water. It's equated to water. And then is niglad v'nase kerech. It freezes and it turns into ice. What does that mean? You take water, turn to ice. Kloimar shenizgashim v'yorad b'seiser hamadregis. That it has become physicalized and it descends through all the steps, Mereish Kol Dargin, from the first of all steps, which is Achar Deleis Machshava Tfisabei, in which there is no, from the top of the level, that's where no thought can grasp him. And it goes down, Lihislabish, to dress up, Lihisnitzvas Bahasogas B'nei Odom, in order to be captured in the grasp of the human beings. The Kol Chad Lefum Shiura delay to each one according to their measure. So that water, that high level, that level that cannot be captured, dresses up into the physical in the comprehension of people, each one accordingly. That means it's frozen, has become ice, it's become materialized. So now they can be comprehended. That's what we say, he throws. Because mashlich karcha, he throws the ice. What does it mean? Bechinas hashlocha medarge ledarge. Throws it from one step to the other step, which means that there is a descent. And then we say kifitim. Kifitim means bechinas pirut v'yischalkus, l'revavis madreges. It's in a level of separation and divides up into tens of thousands of steps. And that is liyes nimshach gam lemato bechinas echad. Those hamshocha, those comes down into pieces, that also in this world should come down the level of echad. The echad that is above should be felt and descended into this world in order leman das kolame ha'oretz chulu, in order that all the nations of the world should know, which basically means to have this echad, which is on the highest level, to descend it into this world. That is the mashlich karche kifitim, that he throws the ice, that the kerach, the frozen, into different pieces, into all this different level, to be mamshich, the level of echad into the world. So that was in the parentheses. This is similar to the idea that it's written. It says udumus al roshi hachaya rikiya ke'ein hakerach hanoira. That the image on top of the chaya is a rikiya, is a sky, which is like the awesome ice, like Erken. Mevur b'moki machar b'shem harav HaKodesh Rabbi Avram ben harav HaMagid Nishmos Eden. Elsewhere it's explained in the name of the holy Rabbi Rabbi Avram, the son of the Magid Nishmos Eden. He says, Ki kerach oisios cherek. Kerech is the same letters as cherek. What is cherek? Cherek hu b'chinas netzach anaf ha'chochma. Cherek is the level of netzach, which is the branch of chochma. And not sure exactly this meitzitz min hacharakim, or cherek today means like an insect. It's called the hacharakim, or an engraved, but some cherek is the level, he says here, of netzach, which is a branch of chokhmah. Basically, as he's going to say, that from the level of chokhmah becomes the ice in which there is a separation between atzilus and biyah, in order to limit the exposure and the hamshochin to biyah. Let's look inside. Then nimshach aparso hamafsekes bein atzilus libria. From this extends from the level of that kerach, or level of chokhmah. The level of chokhmah extends aparso hamafsekes bein atzilus libria. That curtain, that separation, that parsa that separates between Atzilus and Bria. Shehi b'chinas rikiya that becomes the rikia, that becomes the sky. Shal Rosh HaChayis Ke'ena Kerachulu. That is on top of the Chayis. The Chayis that are in Bria, the level of the Malachim, of the Chayis HaKodesh, which are in the level of Bria. So that frozen, that Kerach becomes their Rakia, that becomes their sky, which is Al Rosh HaChayis Ke'ena Kerach HaNeira, like he says, the Kerach HaNeira, as the Pasuk says. Why do we call this parsa with the name of Kerach? The idea of this parsa is by way of example, as a teacher that wishes to explain some big idea to his student, the student cannot accept it, and he needs to give him a marshal parables, in a way of a riddle, a marshal, in order to give over that idea to him, like we find Shloima's example. Those are ways in which to teach the wisdom by bringing it down into a comprehensible way, and from the marshal they get the idea. So in a similar way, in order to have it extend from the level of Chochmah Law, which is the level of Chakim, it is a level of wisdom, but not with the known wisdom. That is such a high madrega of level of Chochmah Datzilus, and in order for it to come down from Chochmah Datzilus, into the level of Chochmah Bina Das, which is in the world of Bria. And there's a problem, because ve'ein b'nivroim, and the Nivroim don't have the ability, the capacity, ve'ein b'nivroim yicholes l'kabbalah ha'oras ha'chochmah k'moshiv atzilus, and they don't have the ability to receive that ray of chochmah as it is in atzilus. So how do we mamshich from that level of chochmah into Atzilus, into Bria, from Chochmah Atzilus? That's why it becomes the level of a parsa, of a curtain, a separation. Shal Yoda, through the parsa, Nimshach HaChochmah b'nivroim, the Chochmah comes down into the Nivroim. So to bring down the level of Chochmah Law from Atzilus into the world of Bria and Chochmah Bina Das of Bria, we need a marshal, we need a rakia, we need a something to a parsa, to intermediary, so that the Nivroim should be able to be makabelit. Just like just as the way of example, the idea which the student grasps through the garment of the mashul, and similar as we talked about by Daber Shloish Zalofim Mashul Chulu. He talked 3,000 mashul, which means to bring down the level of Shlomo HaMelech. That took 11. That took 3,000 steps to bring it down to the level of the people. And that's why the pasuk says the rikia is like the kerach, is like the frozen. just like the ice. That itself is the water. It's not something different. It's not the water turned and became something else. It's the water itself, but the water froze. But they congealed and they became ice. Same idea is when the seichel dresses up in the parable. Shaboy melubash haseichel atzmei mamash. Over there, in the seichel is dressed up. The seichel itself is there. Alasha melubash b'moshel gashmi, but it's dressed up in a physical moshel. But it's the same, the idea is there, it's the same essence, the same water, what is congealed in the ice, that's the same water. That is similar to the physical of the ice relative to the water. Zohu inyan rekiya ke'ena kerach shal rosh ha'chayis shebemerkava. And this is also the idea, the rakia, that special, the sky, which is like the ice, which is on top of the chayis of the merkava. Through that rakia, through that level, that block, that rakia between them and the world of Atzilus, through this extends to them a grasp from above. They're able to comprehend and grasp what is higher than these malachim, higher than the chayis, through the level of that kerach, through the level of that rakia. And that is through first being extended in the level of kerach. And through that, comes to them the level of bittul. And he brings down again the idea of Zehu Inyan, we brought down before from Avram Ben Hamagid. This is the idea of Kerach Oisyes Cherek Shu B'chinas Bittul. Said before the level of Netzach. But here it says the level of Kerach, which is also Cherek, which is the level of Bittul. V'ayim ha'shekosuf mizeh sev divra ha'maschil v'chol ha'omroi mesakoiles. V'hinei mevur lekama besomuch. Later on, he's going to explain shortly the b'chinas koirach, the b'chinas kerach, though b'chinas shuv sh'achar ha'rotzei. That level of kerach, level of ice, that is the level of shuv that follows after that yearning, after that run, after the rotzei, you have the level of shuv. Why do we compare the level of shuv to saying that it's kerach, that it's ice? Anu ki b'chinas shuv. What is shuv? To return. When you have a yearning, and then we say shuv. Hu lasis lo yizborech dira b'tachtonim al yidei ma'isa hamitzvus v'talmud Torah. To make for Hashem a dwelling place over here, this world, b'tachtonim and lo through mitzvah Talmud Torah kulo, and the study of Torah, which corresponds to all the mitzvahs. That's the greatest mitzvahs of all. That's what we have to do. That's the accomplishment of shuv. The return means to come down into the practical, into this world, to doing the mitzvahs. Asher hamitzvahs nikroim ramach evorim de malka. The mitzvahs, we call them the limbs of the king, the 248 limbs, the ramach evorim de malka. What does it mean? This also to draw down, because just like a limb by a person brings down the chayis of the neshama, of the nefesh, into these limbs. The mitzvahs, so to speak, are the limbs of Hashem, which brings down and mamshich the oir into that's the shuv, that's the idea of the mitzvahs. Asher mitzvahs nikroim damach evorim de malka. We call them the 24 Elikim, the Kamoish and Melubash Chayis and Nefesh. Ve'evorim al derech moshel. Just as, for example, there is a energy of the soul that dresses up. The energy of the soul dresses up in the limbs. Kach Melubash Eirin So Baruch Hu B'Maisa Mitzvahs. So that is the way the Ein Sof dresses up in the mitzvahs specifically. I knew b'tfilin nimshach u'melubash b'chinas dalit meichin. In the tefillin, which we have the 4 parshas, those 4 parshas correspond to the 4 meichin. What are the 4 meichin? Sheheim b'chinas chochma u'bina b'chesed u'gvura shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That represents the 4 meichin, because the meichin comes into chesed and gvura. That's in this burden, which brings about. So they're all considered to be moichin. Those are the dalid moichin, which is chochma bina chesed gvura shakadosh baruch hu. That happens when you put on tefillin. Ubetzedakah gemilas chasadim, and when we give tzedakah and we do act of kindness, nimshach umelubesh b'chinas chesed rayimona, then comes down, extends, and dresses up the level of chesed rayimona. That's the right hand. What's the right hand? That's the level. It's an image of the body. Those are the right and left hand. Is chesed and gvura. We draw down the level of chesed from Hashem through tzedakah and gemilas chasadim. So you see that this is the shuv, this is the return after the Ratzi to bring down Hashem into the world through the Maisa Mitzvahs. That's the way to bring the Kavanah from the Ratzi. In Islapshazu, the Moichin. So this is Islapshus of the Moichin. El Yonim b'Maisa Mitzvahs Gashmim. That when we dress up this supreme moichin, the level of moichin of above, and we say it comes down in the physical act of a mitzvah, putting on the tefillin, that's nimshal lebechinas kerech. This has been equated to the level of ice. Shehu al derech moshel. This is by way of example of hislapshus haseichel b'moshel gashmi kanal. That the idea dresses up in a physical mashal. V'kachu inyan hislapshus oirish al yenim b'maisa ha-mitzvah b'gashmis. And likewise is the dressing up of these supreme lights in the mitzvah u'to gashmis. That's the ice. They become physicalized. V'chein b'avodas Hashem. The same thing is in the service of Hashem. This is the level of in the physical mitzvahs. Gosh, the same thing is when not the physical mitzvah, but the level of ava v'yira that the person experiences, his davening and his emotional attachment to Hashem is also is mislapshim b'avedis Hashem mislapshim adchilu rechimu shebitchil b'tfilah. That fear and that love, the dechilo rechimo, that is in the davening, dress up in Maisa HaMitzvahs. They dress up in the act of a mitzvah. Derech klal, and in a general way, we know that ha'ava, when you have in Avodas Hashem, you have that expression. So while it's an emotional characteristic, it's a spiritual. It's not, doesn't seem like the ice. It's not been the gashmias, but it leads to the Maisa mitzvahs. Derech klal, ha'ava yishedesh l'ramach mitzvahs say. The ava is a root for the 248 positive mitzvahs. Vayira yishedesh shasa loisase, and the fear is the root for the 365 prohibition. This is also the idea of the level of mashlich karchei, bring it down into the Maisa mitzvahs, into the Gashmis chulu. V'ayin mashekosu aposik v'Avram zokin boba yomim, and Parshas Chayesor b'inyan v'yom Moshe b'toich ha'om ha'onon m'kein Torah mitzvahs chulu ayin shom, as he brings down over there in the Mamer. B'inyan kifitim. What is the idea? Kifitim, mashlich kar kifitim, yesh loimad. So we can say, so now let's explain the kifitim, that we can say that is ki inyan, yesh loimad, shapirud, v'yischalkazu. How do we divide it up? That division, that crumbing up, that separation, and the yischalkus, that comes through the hegevuras. Zehu inyan, and this is the idea, hachosim. Okay, this is the end of long Hagoyah, long Ha'orah, and now we're going to go back to the Mamer. So, saying the pasuk says, "Lifnei karosei miyamed." Who can stand before his karosei, before the freezing, or the cold, before his frozen? It would seem like that's the level that is coming down to the Rakia, the ice, to Gashmias, to physicalize and take the highest level, take the Chochmah, bring it down into the Chabad of Bria from Atzilus. But Lifnei Karos Miyamid means Kam Shochas Gilu Zeh Lamato B'chinas Korose, because when this revelation below extends in a way of Korosoi, is freezing. So what happens is Hu B'chinas, that's in a level of, is a level of Krirus. It's a level of coldness. And that level, so first the person was in a level of arotzui, and then in order to bring down the lamata, the shuv, meaning he has to become cold, he has to cool down his excitement, and you need to bring down, it's a level of coldness, so that from it should come the level of return, which is the opposite of the level of rotzi, which wants to expire. That is a sparkling fire of a flame that goes up from itself. So now we're doing the opposite. This is a cold approach. We're saying a cold and collective to do the mitzvahs, to come down in Otin Yonim in a physical way. So the issue we have here is how do we deal if we're doing things in a cold way? We have a problem because some people from that coldness may actually come into failing. Not everybody has the merit to be able to stand. Who can stand? Not everybody. Why? What does it mean? We want that even that even when he's in the level of shuv, he should still be connected to Havaya. Why is there such a problem? Why is there a problem to stay connected even in the coldness, even in the level of return? Although comes down in a level, the mile in a level of Shemini Atzeres. Arehu Kemoshul. So why is there such a issue not to be able to stand? We said before that he hugs you, doesn't let you leave, meaning the Eibishter holds on to you. So why would the person not be able to continue that level of connection, that shuv? Why would he fail, even though it's kriyas? So while you're getting a hug, but you're getting it from the back. Not a hug on the front, but a hug from the back. The hainu, that means, what does it mean, a hug from the back? The hainu, that love is also goes to the back. It goes not limited just to the front. You're hugging from the back, which means even the back you're taking it. Al derech, similar to what we say, like Avraham, sheyotzu mimenu yishmolchu. So even though Avraham has the Hamshocha, but yet from him comes out of Chesed, from him comes out Yishmael. So, meaning there is still room by the hug and by the connection also for Yishmael. Begam besukis hoyu makrivim shivim porim al shivim umes. Also on Sukkot they would offer the 70 bulls for the 70 nations. Same idea that even though we're talking about Yeminit Chabkeni, and yet there was Goyim in the equation over there. The nations of the world were in the equation because we brought Korbanos for them. Why did we do that? Is Lahamshich Lohem Hashpah, to bring to them a flow. B'medrash shirashirim b'pasik hinach yofer ayosi, that the reason that we brought the oldest karbonis keneged the shivim umes was to bring down hashpah for them. So we see that there exists also the negative. We're also including the Yishmael, also the back, also the Ocher. So how do we make sure that even when you're in the level of Shuv and you've distanced yourself from that level of yearning to Hashem, when we are in the level of Shuv, when you're distancing yourself, you're getting further from the Rotzui, there may be a total fall into the level of Achorai. As a result of that fall, as a result of that level of Shuv, there can be a level of falling down. So therefore, and that's why it's written, Vayashkim Avram Baboiker, Vayachbar says Chamoire. You get up in the morning, you have to saddle your donkey. You have to, every morning, you have to harness basically your Chamoir. That means, Avram Baboiker, in the morning, there is an opportune time to take your Chamoir and harness it. Every morning there is an arousal of the Supreme Chesed to overpower the level of the Chamoir. What is the Chamoir? What is your Chamoir? What is your donkey? So that hu inyan, that is the idea of Chamra Afilu B'tkufas Tammuz Kirirale. The Gemara says that a donkey is always cold, even in the season of Tammuz, when it's the height of the heat, he's still cold. The Hainu, And that is Masha'ein Ha'odom Ispoil Migdulas Hashem. And that is the cold. You're being the Chamoyer, meaning that you don't become excited from the greatness of Hashem. In the morning, there's a chance to saddle that Chamoyer, that coldness or that lack of excitement in the Gdulas Hashem. This is also similar on this path. It says so that there is cold on the road. So what happens? And this level of love of Avram is vayachbosh as chamerechu. That is to saddle this donkey. That is the idea of Avram getting up in the morning, saddling the donkey. Ayin bezer chelik aleph vayishlach daf kuf samach vav amid beis. Ayin bezer chelik beis truva kuf samach vav amid beis. Eich mibchinas kerach nizbarer hapsoilis. That from the level of kerach, you sort out the leftover, you sort it out, and you take away, those are the bad waters, you remove that. That's the idea. The Mamer are the bad waters, those are the physical delights, and from the kerach, you have to be mevarer, the tanug gashmi.
Rabbi, I have to go, sorry. I have to go. I'm sorry. Could we stop? Okay?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. See you Sunday.
Right? Yeah, Bezrat Hashem.
Okay, Yashikoyach, Rabbi. Sorry for that. Have a good day. Good Shabbos too.
Shabbos.